What's up, guys? So today we're taking a look at one of the most impressive gaming monitors that I've reviewed in quite a long time, not purely based on specs and performance, but really those two things compared to its price point. So here we have the Pixio PX248 Prime Advanced. It's a 24-inch 1920 by 1080p display running at 144 hertz, but it's a fast IPS panel. So that means we're getting really quick response times on this thing. So even though it is 144 hertz, the feel and the play on this monitor is just amazing with the fast IPS nature, just the really quick response time, super minimal ghosting, which we'll take a look at in the testing. Overall, this thing is super impressive, purely based on the specs themselves. But then when you compare it to the price point, which is normally $150, but right now you can buy this thing on Amazon Black Friday deal, both early and on Black Friday for $110. It's just a super impressive monitor that really everybody can game on. Like whether you're an entry level budget gamer and you want something that's maybe your first 144 hertz panel, this thing is awesome. Or maybe you're more into, you've been gaming for a while, or even like you're getting into more like professional type gameplay. Like this 24-inch 144 hertz monitor is really nice, especially at that budget $110 price point. But even at the $150 price point, this thing is a bargain. So let's just jump into the unboxing of this thing, what comes in the box with the Pixio PX248 Prime Advanced. But then, of course, we'll jump into some gameplay, some testing as well to see what the capabilities of this monitor are. Overall, I think you guys will be very impressed with this super value, like one of the best bang for the bucks monitors that I've reviewed on this channel. Yeah, let's just jump into it. So starting things off with the unboxing of our Pixio PX248 Prime Advanced, we honestly get some pretty nice features inside of the box. So this thing comes with a DisplayPort to DisplayPort 1.2 cable. So not DisplayPort 1.4, but you don't need that with this 1920 by 1080 display running at 144 hertz. It's just overkill to have a cable like that. 1.2 will do just fine. Then we also, of course, get our power brick. So it is a power brick to the wall. You don't have the power supply inside of the monitor itself. One, it's small to fit a power supply in the monitor, plus at the price point, this is just kind of what's expected. And then, of course, at the top, we have the base of our stand, a very simplistic design when it comes to the base of many of the Pixio monitors. Are also very similar with this kind of very thin, metallic, kind of futuristic style of look. And then you do have the screw in at the bottom, which will very simply slot in to the already installed or already connected main part of the stand. And all we have to do is screw that in place and tighten it down. But yeah, overall, a very simple unboxing experience, but you do get some really nice functionality, features, extra items inside of the box. That is very nice to have. Now, when it comes to the port selection on this monitor, it's very nice. You got dual HDMI 2.0 ports for 1920 by 1080 at 144 hertz. And then we also get dual DisplayPort 1.4 ports for that 144 hertz, again at 1920 by 1080. And here it is in the setup, looking super crisp. You do definitely have some limitations when it comes to the stand, of course. We only really get forward tilt and backwards tilt, but there's no height adjust, there's no swivel, there's nothing really there. So you're definitely limited when it comes to some of the ergonomic aspects of this monitor, but it is really nice in terms of the controls. Just a single nipple on the back center of the monitor that allows you to get full control of your on-screen display, control everything in terms of brightness, contrast, all the colors, game setup for overdrive and things like HDR. And then of course you also have inputs, everything very super simple to identify and kind of control through the on-screen display. And then of course we also want to set up 144 hertz. We're not going to run this thing at 60 hertz like it is right now. So we can go into our display settings, adjust the advanced display settings, and update that refresh rate to 144 hertz. The one other thing we want to do, we did turn on AMD FreeSync Premium, which is a nice functionality of this monitor as well. So we can also go in and make sure we have G-Sync compatibility enabled as well. So overall, it's really, really nice to get a DisplayPort cable included in the box with a $150 monitor. Just one less thing that you do have to purchase when going out and getting a gaming monitor. But we're definitely limited when it comes to some of the functionality, especially around the stand. All you're getting is tilt forward and back. And this thing is definitely low to your desk. So you're either gonna have to sit low or possibly get a VESA mount in order to adjust the height and the swivel and whatever else you would want to adjust from an ergonomics perspective with this monitor. Out of the box, the stand is not great. It's definitely probably the worst feature when it comes to this monitor, but I think it gets well made up for in terms of the performance of the Pixio Prime Advanced. So yeah, let's just jump into the performance of this thing. We'll take a look, one, at the UFO test just to see ghosting, what that is like on this monitor. I think you'll be very impressed. We'll also jump into some blooming tests as well as some HDR tests on this thing. Of course, it's definitely not built for HDR, but you do get some good performance in terms of brightness and overall color accuracy on this display. We'll jump into all those details. And of course, we're going to game on this thing. We'll throw on some Fortnite on this monitor and really see the capabilities of this thing in game. Overall, you guys will be impressed, but let's just jump into it and take a look at this thing in action. So starting things off, we have our UFO test. This is super nice test just to see what is like the ghosting and the response time of this monitor. And as you can see, there is very, very little both trailing and leading ghosting on the top UFO, which is running at that full 144 hertz. Very, very clean, super nice response time on this display. Now, the other thing I wanted to test was bloom. Just one, see if we had any backlight bleed on this monitor, but also the blooming in terms of super bright visuals on a dark background. And overall, as you can see in this test, we do get some really, really nice like contrast within this display. You can see the brights, you can have kind of the backdrop be very, very dark, but there definitely is some backlight bleed, especially along the edges, especially in the corners that you can see now in this kind of visual, but it's not super noticeable, especially when you're in games. And the last thing I wanted to test before we jump into some gaming is HDR. Now, again, this monitor is definitely not built for HDR, but it does come with the functionality, which definitely will increase the nits or the peak brightness of this display. So out of the box, peak brightness is 300 nits on this monitor, and we're also getting really, really good color accuracy. It's like 120% sRGB, 87% DCI-P3, and as we watch this HDR video, you can really, really see, maybe it's not the most HDR-y, but the colors are super, super accurate, and like they really do pop. It's very, very nice to get that out of 150, and at this point, $110 monitor. And the last piece is, of course, Fortnite gameplay. And overall, it was just super, super smooth. The colors and the visuals are just really, really nice to begin with. But the response time, the frame rate, the refresh rate, overall, it's just super, super nice to play on this monitor. And the 24-inch size is super convenient when it comes to a game like this. Any really competitive shooter, it's really nice to have that smaller size screen so you can see everything. You're not really looking around on like a 27 or a 32-inch screen. But with this 24, everything's in your line of sight. You don't have to kind of jump around to see what's in your peripheral, what's not, and you really just, you can see the whole screen at once. So it's a super nice experience for gaming, but then of course, for that more visualization and that color accuracy, this is a great monitor as well. And as you're listening to this, the audio of the gameplay is actually coming out of the dual 2-watt speakers on the display itself. So there you have it. I mean, from the actual unboxing experience to the gameplay to the overall performance of this monitor, I am very impressed, and I really do like the size and the capabilities of this thing at the price point, both its current price point, its normal price point. Whether you get it for $110, you get it for $150, I think this is an extremely good deal for a gaming monitor. And whether you're entry level, you're kind of intermediate when it comes to gaming, you're looking more towards the professional side, I think this thing is super, super nice. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. So definitely leave all those down there. If you enjoyed the video, if you're looking to pick up one of these Pixio 248 Prime Advanced gaming monitors. There will be a link down in the description below. But if you enjoyed it, definitely give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, get subscribed to the channel. A lot more reviews, both monitors and just tech-wise, coming to the channel very soon. And I hope to see you guys in the next one.